All right, I'm going to call the School District Budget Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, February 8th. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I'm sure that when we started out, we thought this night was a long way ahead of us, but here we have finally arrived. And once again, I want to thank everybody on the committee for the hard work and the participation that you all showed, quite a dedication to your community. I'd like to call for a motion for approval. Oh, Carol. Oh, Carol, how are you? Thank you, Pat.
Hello.
You all set, Carol?
Yep.
Okay, are you alone?
Yep.
Could you tell everybody where you are?
Satellite Beach, Florida.
Very well. I'd like a motion for the approval of the minutes of 2122. Somebody would like to make a motion?
I'll second the motion.
There we go. Are there any alterations or additions or any other comments relative to the budget meeting minutes? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Pat, would you please call the roll?
Scott,
Abstain.
Dan,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Chuck,
Yes.
Gillian,
Yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee is not here. Carol,
Yes.
Mackenzie,
Yes.
Naomi,
Yes.
that's 1, 2, 3. The numbers changed as Gillian came in, so just give me a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't even count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 901.
Pat, you didn't call me. Yes.
Thank you. Actually, yes, I didn't get dinner tonight, but I'm fine, thank you. So it's 10:01, and we have Lee and Brian that are not here this evening.
All right, the minutes are approved by a majority. Do we have any petitioned warrant articles to review?
No, none were received.
My goodness, and I was so looking forward to all of the inspired individuals of our community. Is there any other comments from committee members before we recess ahead of the public hearing? This is your last opportunity to bring something up, discuss it with the board, the committee, excuse me.
7:06.
I know we've had a robust discussion about so many different things. I just kind of assumed we'd want to finish off the year with an equally excited conversation about our interests on the Budget Committee. Seeing none, we will stand in recess until the public hearing at 7:30. So it is now 7:30, and we will resume the Budget Committee meeting and hold our public hearing. Unfortunately, I don't see a lot of public participation in the audience, but nevertheless, it's a public hearing, and we will go through the appropriate warrant articles, operating budget, default budget, etc., as required by law. So Article 1 and Article 2 are the regular housekeeping articles to elect district officers and to ensure that if something happens, we can accept things without further action and so forth. Article 3 is the first moneyed article, which is what the Budget Committee will take a position on, and in fact has. Shall the district approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the school board and the Merrimack Teachers Association, which calls for the following net changes in salaries and benefits at the current staffing levels over the amount paid in prior fiscal year. Year 2022-2023, the estimated amount is $1,247,930. And further, raise and appropriate the sum of $1,247,930 for the current fiscal year, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at the current staffing levels. Majority vote is required. It was recommended by the school board 5-0-0 and recommended by the Budget Committee 11-0-0. The next warrant article, Article 4, while the Budget Committee has not taken a position on it because it's not a moneyed article, it is in fact somewhat of a companion article to Article 3. And it says, shall the district, if Article 3 is defeated, authorize the school board to call one special meeting at its option to address Article 3 cost items only. Majority vote is required and is recommended by the school board 5-0-0. Article 5. Shall the district approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the school board and the Merrimack Teachers Association, which calls for the following net changes in salaries and benefits at the current staffing levels over the amount paid in the prior fiscal year for a market adjustment added to base salary beginning in 2022-2023 to position the Merrimack Teachers Association at competitive rates in regards to surrounding districts in the amount of up to $950,000. Said sum not to exceed 25% of the unencumbered surplus funds remaining at the end of fiscal year 2021-2022. Majority vote required, recommended by the school board, 5-0-0, recommended by the budget committee, 11-0-0. Note, this article represents a one-time salary adjustment to the scale for the fiscal year 2022-23, and if approved, will be embedded into the salary schedule from 2022-2023 forward. It is not cumulative. Article 6, shall the district raise and appropriate the sum of $1,600,500 for the purpose of roof replacement at Thornton's Ferry School? Majority vote required, recommended by the school board, 5-0-0, recommended by the budget committee, 11-0-0. Article 7, shall the district vote to authorize the school board indefinitely until specific rescission of such authority to retain year-end unassigned general funds in any fiscal year in an amount not to exceed 5% of the current fiscal year's net assessment, in accordance with RSA 198:4-B, 2. Majority vote required, recommended by the school board, 4-1-0. Article 8. Shall the district raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amounts set forth on the budget posted with the warrant, or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $83,439,166. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $83,174,461, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the district or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13, 10 and 16 to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. Majority vote required, recommended by the school board, vote 5-0-0, recommended by the budget committee, vote 12-0-0. If I could impose upon our Assistant Superintendent, Matt Chevenel, he will describe the default budget.
Greetings. When when SB2, we now call it 40:13, was adopted decades ago, there had to be a way to have a fail-safe in case the operating budget failed at the ballot. And so, because like traditional town meetings or school district meetings, where you voted in person and you could modify it, change it, and then arrive at a conclusion, there wasn't the mechanism to do that with a paper ballot vote. So the default budget was created. It's governed by statute. It's last year's budget, adjusted by any contractual obligations, legal, any obligations on the federal level, state level, local level, any obligations that were due to labor contracts that were voted on via warrant article at a previous budget meeting and vote. So this was posted online. It's under school board supporting materials. I don't have a copy of it with you, but I can just read it off what the calculation was. You take the approved budget, the from the MS-22, which is $82,222,649. We have a retirement incentive clause in our teacher contract, and that's going to be increasing by $74,908. We have a support staff salary contract that passed a couple of years ago. The full impact of that was around $249,000, but because of turnover in staffing, we chose to be a little prudent in the estimate, so we only took $138,000 of that and added it to the default budget, seeing that we've had turnover in paras and custodians and everything like that. We have a decrease in our health insurance because we have a guaranteed maximum rate decrease this year of $426,465. So that was a decrease to the figures. They're not all adds, there are decreases. Our insurances that we're required to carry, unemployment compensation went up by $1,200, workers' compensation went up by $24,000. We have transportation obligation went up $85,000. Utilities that you saw in the budget, we have to, by law, provide a healthy, safe learning environment for students, and this includes a potential increase in the distribution costs of electricity and natural gas. We have locked in our rates for the cost of the fuel itself until the end of 2024 at a little less than 7 cents a kilowatt, which is a pretty good rate. But that increase, given the distribution charge and given the edict from the state that we run our HVAC systems 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, due to the COVID environment that we have been in for the last few years. Potentially next year, it's still maybe best practice, we're not sure, but that increase was $175,000. We have our property and liability insurance, and these are guaranteed rates from our insurance carrier, Primex, that went up $18,000. We have the Honeywell ventilation lease, which was a 10-year lease purchase agreement voted on at the last district meeting. The first year payment was $98,000. The second year payment went up $370,000, and seeing that the lease was voted on with a non-appropriation clause in it, it's already automatically carried over as an obligation into the default budget. We have a decrease in our debt service. We have one loan left. That's the middle school. The last payment for that will be in 23-24, so not this budget that we're talking about, but the next budget. So 24-25 will be no payment for the middle school. It's all paid off. It was a 20-year bond, and the building was built in 2004. So I'm kind of happy to see that one kind of go away. It's been 20 years. So special services, you all know we're required to provide a free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment possible to our students. We're required to be inclusive in our educational model, and it's also in our educational philosophy. So there are some areas where special ed, where we have to do out-of-district placements. That's all controlled by the IEP team. The IEP team includes the parent, the special ed director, sometimes school counselors, school psychologists, everything like that, and they all arrive at a legally binding document that is the best of what can be done for the student, and sometimes they recommend an out-of-district placement. So in reviewing the current students that we have and looking at the marketplace for those placements, we're looking at an increase of $504,000 there. And the last item we have is the Honeywell maintenance agreement to take care of all our HVAC systems district-wide. All the new unit ventilators coming in, the existing unit ventilators, the VFDs, the fans, the filters, valves, everything like that, soup to nuts. It's around $380,000 a year. Something breaks, we call Honeywell, they come over, they fix it, we don't get a bill. And so that's a pretty good deal, and it's going up $3,205. So when you take that all and you add it up, it comes to $83,174,461. And that is the amount of the default budget, and that's how it was calculated.
Thank you very much, Matt. Are there any questions from the public relative to the warrant articles, the default budget, or the operating budget? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. And now it is the job of the Budget Committee to make its final recommendations. This is one last chance. If anybody would care to make a motion relative to adjusting the budget in some way now that we have had a public hearing. Any members?
Usually it's the chair. In the past, it's been the chair.
I'm sorry, Pat.
In the past, it's been the chair that makes the motion for the budget.
I simply wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to contribute whatever was on their mind relative to the finalization of the budget. Even though we have previously voted on this, it remains unchanged, and we take a final, we'll take a final vote on it. So I move, as chairman, the operating budget of $83,174,461. Do I have a second?
66, isn't it?
Excuse me?
60, yeah, you're reading the default. Wrong number.
Oh, is that it? Oh, I'm sorry. They were so close. That's another thing I'd like to mention, actually, that there's not a substantial increase over and above last year. It's only something like $264,000. $83,439,166. Scott Adler has seconded the motion. Do we have any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will call for a vote. Pat, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Peters,
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson,
Yes.
Dr. Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Mrs. Savage,
Yes.
Ms. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Mower,
Yes.
Mrs. Lang,
Yes.
Mrs. Groff,
Yes.
Mr. Coakley,
Yes.
Mr. Albuquerque,
Yes.
Mr. Adler.
Yes.
That's unanimous, 11-0-0.
And I so declare it as a unanimous vote.
Pat, I have a question. We had 12 people. Did somebody leave?
We had 12 people at the last meeting. We do not have 12 people at this meeting.
I thought the first vote we took tonight was 12.
No, it was a 10-0-1.
Okay, I'm sorry then.
Don't be sorry, Carol. You keep us honest. Matt, how soon will the MS-27 be available for us to sign?
Well, it used to be in the old days, I'd have a copy of it here, but not knowing the tone and tenor of what the Budget Committee could do, and plus now I have to go through the Department of Revenue new and improved automated online system to input all this information. So if you give me, the last day to file is
February 28th?
February 24th is the last date to
24th?
file the form, but I'll have it ready by Monday easily, if not this Friday.
Everybody has to stop in at the superintendent's office and sign the MS-27 document.
And
And
just to let you know, I have to first do it, then I have to submit it to DRA. DRA takes a few days, they take a look at it, then they give it back to me, and if I have to make a change, then I have to request, give me back a clean document, I have to do it all over. So it's a little bit different. It's not like, I used to have this available for you.
Right.
And sometimes I'd have multiple versions trying to guess what you do, But,
Well, what I'm hoping to avoid more than anything, even though I know it will probably take you about a week to make it available, I want to encourage everybody to sign it as soon as possible so that there's no scrambling at the deadline period to get your signatures on the MS-27. It's very important. Yes, Scott?
Chuck, can you or Pat notify us when it's ready so that we know when we can go? Perfect,
yeah,
thank
I
you.
Sure.
will notify Chuck and Pat, and they can pass the information on
Thank
to
you.
Mr. Adler, yes.
Filing period for Budget Committee offices, I suppose for others as well, is February 23rd through March 4th. I know some of you are going to be running again, for which I am very grateful. And deliberative session is on March 8th. Is there any other business to come before us this evening?
The only other comment about March 8th is that the Budget Committee has a posted meeting immediately after deliberative session.
That's correct. Immediately after deliberative session, the Budget Committee has a posted meeting where we will gather. Depending upon what happens at deliberative session, we may have to adjust our support for something, change our vote in some way, or whatever. So just keep that in mind.
Got a roundabout time for that?
I'm sorry, what's that, Ellen?
A roundabout time for March 8th?
It starts at 7 and it ends when it adjourns.
That's going to require more than chocolate.
Some years it goes 23 minutes, and some years it goes 2.5 hours.
I only have one more thing that I would like to say before I ask for a motion to adjourn, and that is to thank the administration and Bill Olson in particular for leading us out of the wilderness. And we're very happy to have had you on board this year. Thank you very much. Motion to adjourn? Second? I'll second. Carol, are you still on board?
I am here.
Do you want the roll call vote, or do you want to hang up?
I am perfectly happy hanging up to keep it simple.
Thank you, Carol.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All those by a show of hands for adjournment. Thank you all very much.